Three things I wish I knew when I was 20. Or in other words, what life advice, what three things would you tell your 20-year-old self? Based on your wisdom and experience and what you've gathered and gained and experienced in life up to now, what would you tell that 20-year-old self of yours? Stick around and watch this video. I will share my 3 pearls of wisdom. It was really difficult for me to cut it down only to 3 because there's a lot more that I would like to share, but I'll stick to 3. Hi guys, my name is Jacques Snyman, and as you know, I make videos to help you stuck in a 9-to-5 grind who wants to escape that maybe, or keep going with that, but you want to create a more secure future for you and your family. That's what it's all about on this channel. All right, so what's the very first thing I would have said to my 20-year-old self? I think the very first thing would have been, don't play for the pavilion. And what do I mean by saying that? One of the biggest regrets that people have on their deathbed, as a matter of fact, the number one regret that people have on their deathbed, and this is based on a book that was written by a lady by the name of Bronnie Ware. She's a paleo nurse, and she guides people through the back end of their lives into eternity. She says that the biggest regret people's got is that they didn't live a life that they wanted to live, but they lived a life that they believed other people wanted them to live, which is really, really kind of almost bitter and disappointing, right? So my first piece of advice would be, don't play for the pavilion. What does that mean? That means at a young age already, guys, at 20 years, if I only knew this, then I would have then already started to figure out, who the hell am I? Why am I here? You know, is this life all there is? Is it kind of, I got to go and study, get a degree, hopefully get a good job, buy the house with a picket fence, have the 2.3 children and the 1.5 dogs or whatever that might be, and work my butt off for 40 years, and then retire hopefully with some form of a watch and a retirement plan of some sort, and then that's it? I would suggest that there's 2 questions that you need to ask yourself, and I challenge you to ask these questions, whatever your age happens to be. The first question is, who am I? In other words, who are you, right? And don't give me the bump that says, I'm so and so, and I live here, and I do that, and I've got so many kids, and, kind of, this is my family. That's not what I'm interested in. What's the real definition or the real understanding behind that question that says, who am I? So that's the first question. The second question is just very simply, why the hell am I here? Okay, so what's your purpose in life? Why are you here on this earth? Stephen Covey has got a little caption that he gave us. He says, the needs of a human being is fourfold, right? He says, you need to live, you need to love, you need to learn, and you need to leave a legacy. That sentence just simply means the living part is all the biological needs, or the human body needs, if you want. That's the living part. The loving part has got to do with the fact that we're not hermits. We have to relate to others. We are pack animals. We are group animals. The learning part just simply says what is stated about nature very often, right? What's not growing is dying. So the learning part just means that your mind needs to be challenged all the time. You need to keep on learning. And then the last part, which is the leaving a legacy part, just simply says, what would be different on this earth because you happen to spend a couple of years here at some point in time? So that's kind of, the question that you need to ask. Who am I? Why am I here? And then maybe ask those 4 questions and just explore those questions a little bit. I figured out a couple of things. I'm definitely not there yet. I can't say that I know exactly who I am. I'm still on a journey to figure that out. I've done just about every assessment you can imagine, I would think. Plus, I've really been on a journey for many, many, many years to really understand who I am. So I think I've got some answers to that. Why am I here? I believe there's a couple of logical things. Many people call this the Earth School, right? So I'm clearly here to learn certain things. If you believe in multiple lives and the fact that we reincarnate and all sorts of things like that, whatever your belief system might be, I believe my Creator has got a sense of humor, and He might give me a shot more than once at this thing called life, right? So maybe there is reincarnation, maybe there is a second chance after this. Be that as it may, however, what's the purpose of life? And I think there's a couple of things for me. The very first thing is just to love unconditionally, to learn to love if you need to. But I think we are brought here and born here and We are here to love. That's the first thing. The second thing is something to do with the fact that you and I have got potential and that you need to live into that potential. So that's probably the second thing. So you need to live into your potential and do, what comes naturally for you based on your talents. And I believe the third thing probably is to not keep your candle under a bucket kind of thing. In other words, share your magic with the world. So that's some of the things that I've learned in my years on earth. So I hope that helps a little bit. So the first thing is don't play for the pavilion. The second thing I would tell my 20-year-old self is that you create your own luck. In other words, you create your own reality. So I have a very firm belief, and this took me a long, long while to figure out, right? But I have a very firm belief that thoughts create things. I had a comment or a caption the other day, and it said that God has never made a chair, right? God only made trees and humans. And that just simply says, guys, we are supposed to see the tree. We are supposed to apply the mind we've got and the knowledge we've gained and develop skill and so forth and build the damn chair, right? So make the chair out of the tree. That's for me a reflection of you create your own luck or you create your own reality. Thoughts become things. So be very careful in terms of what your thoughts are. There's the famous saying, and you must have heard this before, that we've got 50, 60, 70,000 thoughts per day, depending on who you want to read. And that the scary bit is that 95% of those thoughts are exactly the same thoughts as yesterday and the day before and the day before. And that's the scary bit for me. So kind of go and question your thinking. See if you can become in control of, or if you want to get a little bit better control over your mind or your brain if you want, and see how you can manage your own thoughts. Because as I say, I fundamentally believe that your thoughts create your reality. And how do you figure out, what you've been thinking? Well, do a 360 in your life and see what you got and what the situation is, what the context is, and you will have all the answers to that, because whatever you see, you created that. Okay. There's a little bit of a quirk in this for me as well, and that says that this life that we are living is not a dress rehearsal. And what I mean by that is that you're not here to learn to live. You are here to live. So take your chances. Take a little bit of risk. Be a bit creative. Be a little bit, out of the box from time to time, and ask those damn difficult questions that I shared with you in the first pointer. But just understand that mindset is super, super important. So I would invite you, go and figure out how the RAS work, the reticular activating system. Go figure out how the brain is optimized, right? See if you can figure those things out and see how you can then go and apply that to your life to, if you want, live a better life. Live a life that you kind of have some control over, or at least feel that you've got some control over, and don't just bob like a wine cork all over the show as the tide takes you. So for me, that would be the second thing, and just maybe another little addition to that. Luck, creating your luck, creating your own reality. Yeah, all of that's cool. Mindset's also cool. I believe it's really, really important. But in the end, you need to take inspired action. And then again, that doesn't necessarily always get inspired, or you're not always necessarily motivated to do that. So my advice there would be just start doing it, guys. Take your chances and do stuff and see how that pans out. There is no mistakes. That's what I believe. There's only learning. And I hope that when you do make those mistakes that you learn. And if you learn and you move on, then that's all cool. That was the second thing. Okay, you create your own luck, or you create your own reality. The third thing I would share with my 20-year-old self is that, contrary to popular belief, knowledge is not power, right? Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. And for me, there's again a comment that I saw the other day again that says, the one aspect says, I know that, and the other aspect says, I do that. There's a small little difference between those two sentences, a nuanced difference really. But guys, all that really simply means is that to have the knowledge means absolutely nothing. Anybody and everybody can tap into knowledge today. That is like scary. Bottom line is, my question is, can you actually apply that knowledge? I'm a management consultant. Somebody asked me the other day for some input into a specific process that he wanted to go and do. And I suggested to him, I've got my hard disk on my machine. I think it's 0.5 terabyte. You're welcome to suck everything off of there if you want to. That's the knowledge part, guys. What I'm saying is knowledge isn't power, but the application of that knowledge, that's where the power sits. So just think that one through. What that also means is that as you learn in life, see how much of what you're learning you can actually apply in your life. In terms of my other videos on how I'm now building this online business, every single step I learn, right, I go and apply. Damn, it's frustrating because it takes so long. Because although the lesson might be 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, really, really short and succinct and focused and to the point, the homework that goes with that sometimes takes me 3 hours. But the bottom line is I'm actually doing what I'm learning. So I think applied knowledge is really where it sits today. Today, it's much more important to know how to do things as opposed to just to know things. So that's my 3 pointers. My final word just would simply be to my 20-year-old self, please understand, accept that you are okay, that you are good enough, right? And that you are worthy. You are worthy of living the best life. It's your birthright, I believe. You are worthy of being loved, okay? And you are deserving. So that's something that has held me back for a long, long time in my life, and I'm still struggling with it from time to time, make no mistake about it. But that's what I would share with my 20-year-old self. So the first thing is don't play for the pavilion. Second thing is you create your own luck or your own reality. And the third thing is knowledge isn't power, but applied knowledge is power. And then lastly, you are worthy. Thanks for watching, guys. Check you in the next video.